circulated. And I remember from my student days, domesticating also has to take care of local. There was a phrase that they were using. Can you help me? You domesticate according to the needs of your society. You can't go outside. It's criminal lawyers. And the example that you quoted in Latin America, some time back, with a female activist saw, and every other person also saw the lady who was beating that child with a pestle. Where would you categorize that? I think there was a serious case of torture. For us at the committee, we are happy with the inclusion of people in their private capacity to be able to be charged with torture. I think I stand to be corrected, but we're very happy with that. But the issue came, or the controversy came when I saw it in the observations here, with assistance from the United Nations Development Program focal person, the committee was informed that under international law, torture is only capable of being committed by persons acting in an official capacity. That may be so, but what is our local circumstances? We are domesticating. So when you domesticate, you have to take into consideration your local circumstances as well. I stand to be corrected, but that is my belief. So that was just my way of a writer.
His explanation is very clear. That torture has never been part of our domestic laws. And like other places that may not require it in this act, maybe they already have laws that are punishing torture. So in ours, we never had it. So if we are incorporating, I believe, I'm convinced that we should include it, like Uganda and other countries. I'm convinced by that. Yes, unless of course they have any plans to come up with another act or another bill that will include it. Because we know it is happening. People can easily arrest somebody. Instead of giving the person to the police, they take him or her to a separate corner and do all acts of grievous bodily harm to the person. We've experienced it in URR, in Sandu, last year. When they arrested this cattle thief, they tied him to the tree and they took out his clothes and then they put him like this and they kept on beating the person, from night up to dawn, and then.
Cases
That's always, there have always been. Sometimes they tie you like this, and then you are hanging, and then they keep on doing all acts of things to you. So I think for me, I'm convinced that it's necessary.
Yeah, I think here the fundamental agreement advanced on the basis of the torture committed at private capacity is that it has already been taken care by other existing laws. But what we are trying to advise is that on the basis of the severity of the offense, there is a lacuna in that. So that warranted for proper domestication for the private committal also to be included. I think, to be honest, one should give that room to include that private part of it, because one would not know at what extent domestically one may commit such an offense. Since other laws can take care, but if one to that degree of the offense, if there is no existing law that can take care, obviously there is a need to include
it. Yes, as for me personally, I totally agree with him as far as this explosive whether you are official or private, that's my step. I agree with you. And it's fully thank you.
Honorable Kamara, yeah? Any?
I agree with you.
Honorable Yai?
Yeah, I think you know, convince that.
So we will
They are all
retain
affected.
that.
I was going to tell you.
So now, anyway, the rest we will have. Now, honorable members, unless you have, I thought the main reason why we agreed to call him was on that. Now, if you don't have anything or you don't need any further clarification from the ministry, then we can release them and continue. Or let me put it this way, going through it, we may decide just to consult you on one of the technical areas, if the need arises. Otherwise, I know lawyers never finish. They will always be cutting the T's and dotting the I's. So thank you very much. It's appreciated, and we're happy that you were able to make it. Thank you very much, honorable members. So let's deal on this. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Thank you, Honorable Members. Thank you.
Yes, note that.
We will maintain it. And I have not seen the proposal for the date to reflect 2022. That on the clause 1, is it interpretation of the title? The title. Sir? Yes. Yeah, we will let us include everything that we want amended, because these are the proposals, and then when we go to committee stage, we take it on it and come back. So, anything? What you are we?
Just to add on to the yes, I agree with you, in the sense that no better than I do that international law. International law. Why the convention? The international convention does not include private capacity. In the sense that international law generally is between state to state. Does not generally, and there are exceptions. So that is the reason. But when you domesticate, as rightly stated by the Honorable Speaker, when you domesticate according to your domestic context. And if you want to exclude private capacity, then you will be providing lacuna in the law. And torture, prohibition of torture is absolute. That's not how to put it, acceptable derogation from it. So if you want to include, exclude private capacity, people may torture some in their private capacity, and you may find it very difficult to proceed. I think that was the reason why international law basically will follow the state. And then officially, when you are doing something for the state, it is recognized as an official capacity. So when it comes to the domestic level, then of course you must include the private capacity as well.
I also have a question for the committee. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but with this, it's outside of this door. It's outside of this field anyway. It's something that is happening, and I believe that. Okay. It's the arrest of these soldats and stuff. In as much as I would want them to face justice, I believe that justice must take due process.
Okay.
What I'm asking, as a human rights committee.
Can we finish the program? And you can bring it up. It's of interest. You can bring it up on the AOP. But let's finish this. Otherwise, we may forget. Reflect the dates.
Yes.
And on page 1 also, you have to delete the observation with regards to this.
Yes.
You know, we will maintain that.
As well as
The day is it 2022?
2022, yes.
For the
The cover page?
No, the page
Sometimes
is
on
no,
the page.
the page will still maintain 2020, the report.
Yes.
Yeah, but in the course of our recommendations and proposal, it will change.
Where would it
Because this is just a report, we don't have the authority
To change the bill.
to change it.
That's what I was going to say. You can't change the bill. Committee is reporting recommendation. The bill we cannot change. But we recommend.
Instead of starting with clause 3, you will start with clause 1. It was something that and I had marked it. The consent for the Attorney General, the requirement of the Attorney General's consent for prosecution for non-citizens. If somebody raised it, we should ask them, why do you need consent?
The check is still around.
Did anybody raise it?
No, you don't.
Yes, somebody, I recollect, somebody raised it. That why do we have to?
To ask for a consent when actually the crime is being committed.
We're going to crime.
We even gave that example of that pedophile who just went away.
Yes.
That's for this one, that is the prosecution of non-citizen required consent of
Listen, what we can do is, since we don't have time, note it down. Let's write to the Office of the Attorney General that this was a concern. Can they put it down in writing? Listen, when we finish, yeah, we write to the Office of the Attorney General that on 20, concern was raised on why the need for the consent of the Attorney General for prosecution of non-citizens.
I was just, I don't know, I stand with court as well, but I think generally, criminal prosecution, I think normally require fair court affidavit.
No, that is for private prosecution. Like if somebody offends me and the state, it's not prosecution, non-citizens. Whether it's on bilateral or whatever.
Yeah, like the issue of immunity, so the issue of diploma, perhaps that would involve some form of investigation.
But let them just clarify.
I think it could be one of the reasons that I think.
Yeah, but let's get the clarification on record. Honorable Hudson. Your mic is
Victor.
on. Sandiba, next time, you just number your pages.
Yes, that's, I want to say that.
Hello? Just go to clause 6, circumstances of bearing.
Clause?
Clause 6.
Circumstances aggravating to.
E, victim died. The prevention of such a
E,
E.
the victim died.
Prevention and prevention and period of torture bill. Is it 20202626?
2020, no, the 6 is out.
6, yes.
26. It's a mistake. What is that?
6.
The E, victim died. The prosecution,
And prevention of torture bill.
prohibition of torture.
202026.
Yes. Mr. Liba, why do you need the prevention and prohibition of torture in 2020?
Yes,
You are listing the circumstances aggravating torture.
yes. Victim
One of
died.
them is clause 6.
Clause 6
Take
of the
3
report, of the report.
of your report,
Clause 6. E.
where you say victim died.
It's a mistake.
That's why you should stop.
It's an error.
Just the victim died.
You see, this document you had promised you would give it before you came.
And Liba, if you go to, yeah, done, huh? On that one.
Yes.
The next page,
Yes.
or clause 9, or 9, please. Yes, clause 9. Accessories to the offense of torture. When you turn the page, the last line, after you turn, it said $100,000 is, then imprisonment for 3 years. So I was thinking, or a term of imprisonment for 3 years, or the both.
That I've reproduced the bill. I've reproduced it as it's in the bill. The bill itself had an error.
The bill has.
So the recommendations, if you can see,
Yeah.
there's the word O2.
Yeah. Okay. Then we need to observe that.
No, you look at the next
Okay.
recommendation.
recommendation.
Yes, I've
Okay. Okay.
you seen it?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Where is that's 6 there? Cancel it.
Okay. Numbering the pages.
Numbering the page is time,
Sure.
so that we can follow. Any more?
Yes, when you go to second to last page, now you have 2 and 2C, second line.
Two ornamental or psychological acts.
Yes.
Yes, 2 mental or psychological. C, you have ABC.
Yes.
The second line, you have there again the prevention and provision of torture bill 2020, and then you have 16. You should remove that as well.
I've seen it, yes.
You've seen it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also
It looks like
offenses of torture. Other parties.
Yeah.
So offenses of torture. 9D. Accessories of offenses of torture. D.
Yes.
Look at the spellings.
Accessories.
Yes.
9D.
9D, yes.
Yes, yes, I flagged that.
Okay.
Solicit. Yes, the computer, yeah.
and 9D.
Yes.
It's just a machine. 9D.
Yes, that's the one he flagged.
It is a solicit.
That's the one he just
That's what it's
flagged.
like.
Yeah. Remove the machine.
Or to a term of imprisonment. Who?
You have lawyers in the house.
No, I'm not a lawyer. I cannot claim to be a lawyer. But I have experience.
In law.
You know, when you are in journalism for a long time,
You have to read it.
yeah, you deal with law every day. Because everything is guided by law.
Are you, the list of witnesses,
Yes.
ESG,
You have?
But what about the witness and the resource person? The stroke witnesses, resource persons, those of them who attended
Yes.
the ceremony. The UNDP so-called expert,
Yes.
they should be there.
Yes.
Right.
Should be captured.
I don't know who the person is, whether it's a
Do you know
he or
the
she.
name?
It's a she.
Fadu
something.
You see, I will try to get this phrase of domesticating.
Yes.
Domesticating, you don't just have to vomit it or
Yeah.
all out verbatim.
Mhm.
You adapt it to your social needs.
That's why
Yes.
that's why it's called domesticated.
Huh?
That's why it's called
You know,
domesticated.
this
Otherwise,
I
they
was
can
the
just
one
bring the
who
law
brought it
and
because
just
I found that
pass it as.
according to the definition of international definition, private people can commit torture and nothing will happen. So, and under our laws, there's no provision for that. So that was why it was what he said we cannot do that.
You can see somebody
Fadu?
committing torture. You see
It was a big
somebody
debate.
It was very
It was a heat of debate.
They tried them grievous bodily harm.
Yeah.
so supported it.
Yeah.
That's what we have
So
to
that was why
finalize this thing. It's
Who
one
was the
o'clock.
lawyer?
Mr.
It's
Fadi.
getting to
Wait
work.
for her.
Yes, but what's the
And the
name?
SG.
What's the name?
And now the FPSG,
Find out.
UNDP, focal person.
I'll find out.
That's how we describe.
What about the minister himself? He never
Yeah, the
appeared.
minister,
The minister himself.
would that be,
Did he appear? No, not at the plenary here.
Yes, in Parliament.
Hmm?
I think our first